as the shed has become fully erect, the time has come to start planning a layout for tools, workbenches and storage. To help visualize all of that, I made a 3D model of the shed and fitted it out virtually before spending any dollar bucks. So grab yourself your favorite beverage and let me show you what I've been up to. Let's get some light on this situation, and we'll go through what I hope to achieve by spending the best part of 2 years making this video. Since I was starting with a blank slate, I wanted to take time to plan a workshop layout while considering the type of work that I'll be doing in the shop. This one will facilitate attempts at woodworking, metalworking, and car-related shenanigans, including storing 2 cars. A big part of woodworking is keeping the dust under control, so the dust collector I have needs to be integrated into the shed space without getting in the way. Storing large tools like the table saw, miter saw and thicknesser will take up a fair amount of room, so they'll need to be stored in a way that will save space. Woodworking materials will need to live in the shed too, and a creative solution will be needed to keep large sheets of ply and MDF out of the way. Metalworking makes a different sort of mess to woodworking, so care must be taken to keep the two reasonably separate. Sparks from the welder don't mix well with sawdust, so keeping them away from each other is a high priority, and fire extinguishing gear needs to be located in easy reach. Large items like the welder, bandsaw, plasma cutter and welding table will all need a home, preferably away from all the dust. Pieces of metal waiting to be turned into something could be stored with the timber materials, but it's preferable that they're kept separate. As far as automotive activities are concerned, a car hoist has been at the top of my wish list since I can remember, and the shed was sized specifically to fit one in there, including the extra concrete slab thickness. For now, 2 cars will have to be stored in the shed. Our family car, the Colorado, will live in a partitioned off garage behind the single roller door, and the project car will be parked in the space where the hoist is installed. The added bonus of the hoist is that 2 cars can be stacked in the same floor footprint should someone acquire another car. Space for car-related fluids and tools will also have to be considered. Other requirements will be a space for paints and other flammable liquid consumables, as well as gardening tools like the mower and whippersnipper. Lastly, consideration must be given to the location of power points and lighting, which means the position of large machines will need to be sorted out. I have started already. This chapter was animated before the shed was insulated and lined, which was covered in my previous series of videos. If you haven't seen the shed series, I've added some links that will take you right to them. They cover everything in this chapter and how it was done in reality, and in much greater detail. I'll put the playlist at the end of the video too. Insulation was important to me since it gets quite hot and humid here, and I wanted the shed to be a nice place to be. An oasis away from the troubles of everyday life, if you will. The door in this wall ended up being a cavity slider in reality, but I wasn't about to redo this clip, since each frame takes about 3 minutes to render, and at 30 frames per second it takes a lot of time. The purpose of the wall is to create a single garage for the Colorado, which could double as a spray painting booth on occasion. I used plywood on the walls since it would be hard wearing, and it would have the strength to mount reasonably heavy things to it just about anywhere on the wall. I implemented that same theory in the workshop, using the same 9mm ply on 3 sides, but I wanted to use some 100-year-old pine on this end wall to make it something of a feature. It was finished off with some trim and some paint. And here is about where we left off in the previous shed videos. While we're in the garage, we may as well start the fit out. It's fairly basic in here. A little workbench for quick jobs, some shelving for storing boxes of junk, and some heavy duty racking. Of course the ute needs to fit in here, and there'll be a little spot on the wall for the racks I made for it. But then along came the dust collector. All this stuff had to go to make a space for it. The garage was a place since it's quite noisy when it's running, and I thought I'd give it its own enclosure to get it right out of the way. Some ventilation is probably needed, and we'll come back to the ducting a bit later. Now to the workshop. First thing required is a nice big workbench. This one's actually already built, and I'll have a video coming out on it soon. A nice roll cab toolbox is on the list too, mainly to store all the tools for working on the car. I modelled up this mobile woodworking bench that will incorporate a table saw, a bench router, and be able to be extended for more workspace. I want to have storage for tools and fasteners too. But this isn't the final design. I've already come up with a few modifications to make it work better for me. And finally, it will be designed to fit under the corner workbench when I'm not using it. My barber gave me this mini lathe. Needs a bit of work to get it back in order, but I think it'll be a worthwhile addition to the shed and a fun project. I'll recommission my old drill press and knock up a few shelves around the place. I've acquired these black steel shelves along with a whole lot of black storage containers for the back wall. I want one of the shelves to act as a little workstation so I can access my work files and YouTube on my old PC. I'll just have to work out a way to keep the dust out of it. My trusty welding bench has served me well so far. I would like to make a few mods to it and be able to store the welder and plasma cutter in there somewhere, along with the associated metalworking tools, but haven't modelled that yet. I have modelled this big unit though. It has a bunch of vertical drawers that I reckon will make it easier to access everything inside it. Heavy things in the bottom, most used things in the centre drawers, and lightweight items in the top. And a space for spare wheels and tyres above the welding bench bay. What workshop is complete without a French cleat setup these days? For this one, I'm thinking of making modules for my most used power tools that also house each tool's associated consumables and attachments. There's just enough room to hang some levels on the wall without interfering with the vertical drawer cabinet. This spot beside the door will be a check-in area. I've designed this 3D printable wall mount for Makita batteries that you can download for free if you want. I'll put a few of those on the wall so I can grab one on the way into the shed. And I like some music while I work, so I've put this old stereo up on the wall with a speaker each side of the roller door. A bit of cleaning gear in the corner and that wall's done. Now for the part that I'm most excited about, the car hoist. It'll fit snugly against the white wall and be a parking spot for Black Betty here. I'm still in negotiations with the missus about the hoist, so it may be a while away yet. I concluded that the best spot for the linisher is here by the garage door, so sparks can fly straight outside. The bandsaw will have to stand here in front of the door. I'll build a little stand for it on casters so it can easily be moved around, and also get it up a bit higher. If you have one of these saws, you probably have the same gripes with it that I do, so I'm planning on modifying it and putting up a video dealing with that. Other tools that need a home are the miter saw and the thicknesser. I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone and build one of these Canadian style carts with the flip top head. This little tool cart fits nicely under the workbench, and I have a set of drawers like this that come in super handy, so I'll modify it into the nicer version you see here and also store it under the bench. I also want to add a door and side panels there to tidy things up. Electricity, I finally have some. Comes from the house into its own switchboard and through a whole lot of conduit. We sent it across the top of the roller door because I didn't want to get too much of it on the timber wall. The plan was conduit from the start since I wanted to get the shed lined ASAP, and it gives the industrial look that a workshop should have. Again across the top of the roller door for the garage lights. And down the back to a couple of power points. It goes along this wall to feed the workshop lights, and down the back for the workshop power points. If we jump through the window, we'll find a sneaky power point here for the battery chargers and the hoist. Lights. I finally have lights. More power points up the back, and the conduit comes down and runs along under the shelves on the timber wall. Now let's talk about compressed air. I found a kit with most of the things you need to run hard lines around the workshop. It's meant for a stationary compressor, but I used mine elsewhere as well, so I had to improvise. And also, to make it work, I had to rethink the layout of the garage again. I'll get into the details of the airline kit in a future video, but the whole operation worked out pretty well. At the same time, I came up with this solution to store the ladders while minimizing their footprint. More changes to the garage coming soon. Let's commando roll through this window and see what's happening with the airlines. I put a little outlet down here and run another one up and into the truss. Why? For a little hose reel. Keep the hoses out of the way. Then the main circuit is continued down the wall. And we'll take another hose down under the shelves and over here through a regulator and an air filter. And we'll have an outlet for the plasma cutter. The place for dirty work will be this area here, so dust collection will be needed. The plan is to use 100mm PVC pipe and some 3D printed brackets to send the dust up and away to the dust collector in the garage. We'll just need to cut through some shelves to get the pipe to its home. To tidy things up, I may or may not paint the pipes and conduits in the garage, but I definitely will in the workshop. These ones over here, in fact, have already been painted IRL. A fun project I have in mind is this expanding work light on a rolling truss. It needs more design work, but I've been channeling Industrial Revolution styling. There will be welding, so fire could be an issue, and marauders could also be an issue. Decorations. I want the shed to be a nice place to be, so I'll put some things I like on the walls. It'll be a constant evolution, so it's subject to change. But this sign has already been 3D printed, so I'll put it up high on the timber wall, and I want to put LEDs inside it to make it a feature. And like I mentioned before, there's room for another car in the shed if things go well. And there you have it. Probably not the exact final layout, but close to it. It's definitely helped to visualize what I want to achieve in the shed and gives you an idea of what you can expect in future from the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video if you made it this far. If you have any suggestions to improve anything you see, by all means leave a comment. It was an unbelievable amount of work to get it all finished, but I really did enjoy making it, and the upside is I have all this footage available to aid with future videos. If you like the cut of my jib and reckon I deserve a beer for my troubles, check out my PayPal link in the description to make a one-off donation. Also, if you're in the market for some reasonably priced gear for photography and videography, click my affiliate link with Niwa and check out their wares. Here's cheers.